Following the reconciliation of rent in Xero and the preceding sync, if I now go back onto my tenancies and look at Johnny Smith, we will now see that on his tenant rent statement, I have a rent receipt for £500. If I then go over onto the property owner statement, I can see that I also have a receipt to remit to the owner of £500, and also a management fee of £50 plus VAT, as I set it at 10%. This leaves me a balance owing to the property owner of £440. However, when remitting to owners, there may also be situations where you have to make further deductions to the remittance. The way you do this is by pressing the button that says Add Transaction. There are many transaction types to choose from, but the two main transactions you will use are Disbursement Charge Recharge and Sundry Charge. When adding a Sundry Charge, the aim of the transaction is when charging it to either an owner or a tenant, the income received will become the company's revenue. However, with Disbursement Charge Recharge, this transaction type is to denote that you have been billed for maintenance potentially on a property by a contractor, and then that you are recharging this over to the property owner. The way you deal with this is by ticking the tick box here, which creates an additional transaction for your contractor, who you can pick here. If you use the work orders feature of Arthur, you can select any work orders. You can write a description, in this case I will call it general maintenance, and an invoice number if needed. You can date the transaction for whatever date you were invoiced or you were invoicing for, and you will see that there are two fields here. This first field indicates how much the contractor billed you, and the second field indicates how much you either invoice the tenant or the property owner. All you need to do is select the relevant contact group who is invoiced, and in this situation I will choose the property owner. In the amount net, you put the amount that you are invoicing the owner. If you want, you can actually add a markup if that is how your business runs. You can then save the transaction. This will make a change to the balance owed to the property owner, as this £60 maintenance charge will now be deducted from what I need to pay the owner. Just as a side note, if you go onto the contract statement, you will also see the opposite transaction added for that disbursement charge. This £50 transaction will now create a bill in Xero, which can be reconciled with spent money being paid towards the contractor.